welcome to another video. I know you guys have been asking a lot about making a video for average colleges and आप लोगों ने इतना बोला तो here I am presenting a new video talking about some of the colleges which are good for average students, which take people whose GRE score is below 300. So without further ado, let's start discussing about these colleges and some of the pointers that I would want you to think about before you select these colleges. So let's go. So before I start, I want to give you this disclaimer that these are my opinions based on my experiences and research. It could be different for you. So I would want you to do your own research before you look into these and take this as the ground truth. I would really encourage you to do that. So now let's go on directly to discuss more about these factors. A simple Google search can really help you understand that, hey, you can find so many colleges which take, the GRE score below 300. But there are some of the inherent factors that I have experienced based on my experience, which is really important for you to judge which actually qualifies even an average college to be a really good winner for you. So the first factor, in my opinion, is location. The first thing is, when you are looking at an average college, every location, every place, every big city in the US has some really good colleges and some not so good, like or an average colleges. But for you, it's really important to understand what you are looking for after you graduate, right? Because in US में ऐसा नहीं होता है that you get off campus and all that. So you don't have off campus, you'll actually have to reach out to these companies, and these companies generally prefer local candidates. So for example, if you really want to do software, Silicon Valley is really good for you. You would be looking at a college there, even if it's an average college. When you're looking at finance, New York, or even Atlanta would be really good for banking. Pennsylvania is really good. If you're looking at acting and stuff, LA is really good. So you'll have to take that into consideration. That's very important to think. Okay, if I'm looking at it, even at an average college, you really need to look at that and see, oh, okay, this is where I would be looking for my job. So let's look at an average college in these locations. For example, one of my friends, he went to Pace University, which is, near New York. Although, I know his score was below 300, but he took an admission because he really wanted to score a job in New York, and he finally ended up getting a job there. So that's one thing. One thing that you really need to think about is the location where you are looking for, and which location is really famous for the jobs that you will be looking out after you graduate. The second factor, in my opinion, is very important, which a lot of people do not know, but I think it's a hidden treasure. The first thing you would always want to look at public colleges, because they have a lot more funding compared to private. The other reason that I would want you to look into public colleges rather than private is because the fee structure in private colleges is a lot more than public colleges. So there you would be shelling out a lot less money in public colleges, even if you are a non-citizen. Even then your fees would be less. The other thing is they get a lot more funding. Public colleges get a lot more research funding compared to private. So that is my opinion. So one thing that you should really look into when you're looking at these average colleges is look at and search. You'll have to spend some time to scout. थोड़ा time तो लगेगा ही करने में. But look at those colleges which do not have a PhD program but have a master's program. Why I say that is very important, because if they do not have a PhD program, all the funding that they get is sourced only for the MS programs. So then you have a better chance of getting a funding and full tuition waiver. Most of the colleges that you see in the US also have a PhD program, so most of the funding that they get is always directed towards the PhD students because they are research oriented. I can give you an example of this college called Villanova, where I got my scholarship. I was getting around a very good sum, and I was just trying to understand, and I did some research, and I found out that they do not have a PhD program. That's why they were putting most of the funding that they had, and they were allocating that to master's students. So that, I think, is very important. I have not seen anybody else tell you this before, but I really feel that would be a differentiator for you to get full scholarship even in average colleges, because they have all of their funding is allocated for masters. So that, in my opinion, is second and a very important consideration that you should think after location. Once you have understood that, hey, this is the location that I'm looking at, try also finding out some colleges where you could get a lot more funding. They do not have a PhD program, you get all the funding and you can get 100% tuition waiver. So that is my second point. So the third factor in my opinion is day one CPT. CPT stands for curricular practical training, which I'll discuss more in depth in my later videos. But I have to tell you this. This essentially what it helps you do is you can work, this is the visa that you need to work. Curricular practical training while you are still in college. I have seen a lot of people do that. They are looking and venturing into those colleges which offers you day one CPT. I personally am not a fan of it because most of the good colleges in the US, they offer you CPT only after you've done 1 year of course for the masters. But if you want, there are still some colleges which offer you day one CPT, because of which you can work 2 years, through your CPT visa. Again, saying that I would not prefer that, but that is another thing for you to make up your money or for the expenses. If you want to go ahead and look at those colleges, those are generally average colleges that I have seen based on my experience. Again, I'm not making a blanket statement. This is based on my experience. This is not trying to demean any college or do anything. But I've just seen a lot of average colleges offer you this kind of, work visa that you can get CPT from day one and start working and do stuff. That, my opinion, again, saying it that I would not recommend you doing it. But if you want to do it, you can go ahead with that. That can help you cover your expenses and stuff. So look at colleges which has day one CPT. From day one you can work there. That's point number 3. The fourth factor to be considered in my opinion is looking, I know COVID is not a very good situation, but it is a blessing in disguise for people who are trying to venture and come for masters here in the US, because a lot of colleges, and if you do a Google search, you'll be able to see that a lot of colleges have waiver of their GRE requirement. So for a lot of these colleges, you do not need GRE anymore. So that for you is really important, and this can open a lot more avenues to apply to those colleges which you thought were really esteemed. I really think कि आप ये इस opportunity का जरूर फायदा उठाइए. You apply to all your dream colleges and see how it goes. Also, I'll link my other videos link here on in the description, and also put it there in on top of this, so you can see this. In my previous video I explained, I've already mentioned this before, that SOP in my opinion is a hidden rock star. So you should, in this, when you do not have GRE, there is a GRE waiver, I really want to stress again and tell you that SOP is going to be your make or break situation. That is going to be a rock star. So a lot depends, and a lot is now riding on your SOP. Focus more on the SOP and apply to these colleges which do not have a GRE application. They have waived off the GRE. So that, in my opinion, again, you can hit two birds with one arrow. So if you focus on SOP, you get good colleges. Also GRE waiver is there, so you can, rather than going to average college, you can still apply for good colleges and get admission there. The last factor, and often very neglected one in my opinion, is reaching out to the alumni of these colleges. So once you've selected an average college, you'll be like, oh, okay, fine. Because what I feel, correct me if I'm wrong, what in my opinion is, at the end of the day, after you graduated, you're looking at your life to stay here and make a good career here. So you want to look into and find a good job. So in my opinion, once you've selected a college, look at those colleges on LinkedIn and see where their alumni are working, what they are. So just to get you a good perspective of understanding where they are working, what places they can take out. It's also a good thing for you to reach out to them and make those connections. I will focus more on in my subsequent videos, but I really feel making those connections and seeing where those alumni work will also be a kind of a booster. It will give you confidence. आपको लगेगा कि हाँ, because बहुत लोगों को लगता है कि you are going to average colleges, I don't know, where you'll be just working with consultancies, you're not getting good jobs and stuff. But नहीं, आप चाहिए LinkedIn पे जाइए, look at the alumni and see where they are working, and I am sure you would get a really, really good college. So those, again saying that, if you do a Google search, you can still find out, just put it like looking for colleges which accept under 300 GRE score, you'll get a lot of, colleges. But in my opinion, these 5 factors that I have discussed before would really, really help you to make the right choice. And again, this is my opinion. I feel that this would really be helpful and work in your favor. Try using these factors and see how it works. And please comment down below how this has worked for you, how I can improve, and what are some of the things that you found really helpful which I might have missed in this video. this is the end of this video. Again saying I really appreciate all of you subscribing to my channel. I really hope that this video was helpful, and if you could just spread the word and help other people subscribe to this channel, that will really motivate me and help me to make more such videos. I'll see you you can connect me on LinkedIn or through Instagram. I have put those links in my about section. I really want to know, and I really want you to comment, subscribe or like to this video and tell me how did it work for you. Until the next video, I'll see you. Have a great new year. Bye.